absorbs all his opinions, his decisions from the people who are with him most of the time. So, for such children, parents have two responsibilities. One, they should be conscious of the friend circle of the child. And two, they should impart values to the child themselves at home. The sense of right and wrong, the sense of good and bad. The parents should teach the child, because you have no control over what the child sees outside. He's an impressionable child. He's like a sponge. So if he sees a good thing, he will absorb the good things. If he sees bad things, he will equally readily absorb the bad things. So if you have taught him the sense of right and wrong and good and bad at home yourself, then he will have an inherent resistance built in to accept wrong things. The other type of fingerprint which you can have on the prefrontal portion is W. W stands for whirl. There are 9 types of whirls. But the broad characteristics of whirl means chakra. If a child has chakra in both his thumbs, the characteristics of chakra is this child will be very independent in thinking. He'll be with 100 people, he'll listen to 100 people, but he will do what he thinks is right. For such children, the parents have to make sure that their entire parenting is based on reasoning and convincing. Such a child will ask a lot of questions. You cannot bulldoze your decisions on this child. You will have to reason out with him, convince him. And if he's convinced with what you are saying, then he'll follow you. But if he's not convinced, he will resist. So don't try to bulldoze your decisions. Reason out. Tell him, what are the advantages of doing something like this? And who are the people who have been benefited by doing this? And what are the disadvantages of not doing something like this? And who are the people who have been damaged? Give examples. Now, like this, when you convince this child, then once he's convinced, he will listen to you. So don't try to bulldoze your decision. Parenting has to be based for W type of children on reasoning and convincing. Now let's understand the functions of each part of the brain. The prefrontal left brain controls the talents of communication, management, planning, and judgment. Communication means the prefrontal left brain should supply you the right word at the right time. You have a thought in the mind and you want to express it in spoken language or written language. If the prefrontal left brain supplies you the right word at the right time, your communication will be fluent. Otherwise, you will struggle to communicate. You may have knowledge, you will struggle to communicate. So this is communication. Management means managing home, business, functions, events, projects, operations. All types of management is management. Planning and judgment, judging people and judging situations. These are qualities of good business managers. This is prefrontal left brain. Prefrontal right brain are qualities of good business leaders. This controls creativity. Creativity means ability to generate new ideas. You are stuck in a problem, facing a situation in life. Average person may be able to think of 2 or 3 solutions. A creative person will be able to think of 6, 7 solutions. His brain generates more ideas. Leadership, the ability to motivate people, inspire people, control people. Goal setting and visionary qualities. Visionary qualities means durdrashti, the ability to think ahead of time. These are qualities of good business leaders. And children who are strong in managerial and leadership, both the qualities, generally go forward to become senior business leaders. So this is the function of the prefrontal brain. Postfrontal brain, the top 2 portions on the left side. Now the left brain controls logical ability and language ability. Logical ability is maths and science. Language ability is Hindi, Marathi, English, Telugu, whatever languages you teach. This 10% of the brain controls the entire academic education, the school and college education. Now, therefore, now you understand why in any school, in any class, anywhere in the world, only 10% children are brilliant. The remaining 90% are average, below average, or even weak, because this 10% portion of the brain controls academic education. So when God gives talent, it is only fair to expect that only about 10% children will be getting talent in this area. The remaining 90% would be given talent in some other areas of the brain. This is why only 10% children are brilliant academically. But the remaining 90% also can be made brilliant if we understand that these children are not brilliant or average or weak at a young age. Because when the brain is growing 90%, that is the time when you can improve any weakness. And if a 1-year-old child is there, and if we know at that age that the brain does not have talent in the academic area, we can actually make him super brilliant even academically. Because please understand, there are 3 major differences between academically brilliant children and average children. The first difference is brilliant children read better. Second difference is brilliant children do maths better. And third difference is brilliant children have more general knowledge. All these 3 things can be taught to the child right from 1 year of age. Reading is a neurological function of the brain. Just as a child learns to speak, a child can be taught to read. Just as a child learns to stand up and walk, a child can be taught to do math. It's as simple as that. And all children can be taught and made brilliant if we start early enough. The right brain, postfrontal right brain, this part of the brain controls spatial intelligence. Space means jagah, the ability to use space creatively. The way architects do, the way interior designers do, the way drivers understand space well, and imagination. These are the functions of the postfrontal right brain. On the right side of the brain picture, we have the 3 learning styles. The top one is parietal areas, kinesthetic area. This is learning by kinesthetics, activities. The bottom one is temporal area. This is learning by listening. And the middle portion is occipital area. This is learning by observation, learning by reading. So children learn either by reading or seeing, or by listening, or by doing an activity. In these 3 areas, left brain is the input and right brain is the output. Children learn with the left brain and they perform with the right brain. In the parietal areas, left brain controls fine motor skills. Fine motor skills are things that children do with fingers, like drawing, painting, coloring, mehendi, rangoli, embroidery, art and craft. Musicians require fine motor skills for playing instruments. Doctors, surgeons require fine motor skills for surgery. This is basically control over fingers. The parietal right brain is gross motor skills. These are the activities that children do with the whole body, like dance, gymnastics, sports, martial arts, swimming, skating, skiing. The lowest portion on the right side is the temporal portion. The left brain temporal controls auditory identification. This means the ability to identify all the sounds that the human ears can hear. Human ears can hear from frequencies of 20 cycles per second to 20 kilocycles per second. And such children who are strong in these areas, they can understand all the swaras, the saptaswaras, the ragas, the rhythm, the beat, the bass and the treble, the low frequency and the high frequency sounds. Right brain temporal, these are children who can control the output of sound better. Tonality, modulation, pause, pace, pitch, punctuation, the ability to impact their audience better. And the 2 middle portions are the occipital portions. The left brain occipital portion controls observation. Such children who are strong in this area, they learn faster by observing. They learn faster by reading. They can absorb a lot of information just by looking at something. And the right brain occipital is the function of visualization. Visualization means a person's ability to visualize a future possibility from a current reality. These are functions of designers. All designers are visualizers. Sculptors are visualizers. They visualize the extra material that should be chiseled off for the stone to convert into a statue. We see a cloth, a fashion designer sees a dress. We read a story, a film director visualizes the film that can be made from this story. So this is visualization. Now this report will explain to you what is the strength, what is the weakness at the time of birth, what is the right learning style. Is this child going to learn faster by observation or faster by listening or faster by doing? And what is the rate of growth of each portion of the brain? And keeping this information in hand, we can now design the right activities to improve the weaknesses and to strengthen the strengths. This can be done, of course, in the first 6 years maximum, and from 6 to 15 years, another 10-15%. But after 15 years, we can't improve weaknesses, but we can identify strengths and accordingly choose a course of higher studies. We can also decide what activities the child should do to prepare for those higher studies right from today. Now, with these skill sets that your child has got, when you come for the individual counseling, our trained counselors will then tell you what is the choice of higher studies, what is the choice of right career, what are the activities that we can do to improve the weakness and strengthen the strengths of your child. The lower the age, the more is the possibility of improving the weakness and strengthening the strength. And the activities also will differ depending on the age of the child. So welcome to the meeting with our trained counselors who will then tell you what exactly is to be done for your individual child. Thank you very much.